Welcome back to episode 2 of the All Gas, No Brakes podcast. Today, we'll be bringing our listeners, our fans, our alumni inside a deeper look of our program. We've got former seniors, graduating seniors, Ben Riva, Andre Fancher, Daquan Viverette, alongside Eli Moody and Coach Jacob Wanner to talk about, how our freshmen went from an 0-9 freshman season to an 11-1 senior season. They'll dive into a lot of different things, so we certainly appreciate you coming back for episode 2 of the All Gas, No Brakes podcast.
What we rep, Lafayette Jeff, Broncos, let's go. All gas, no brakes, LJ for air, let's play. What we rep, Lafayette Jeff, Broncos, let's go. All gas, no brakes, LJ for air. Let's play. What we rep, Lafayette Jeff, Broncos.
Welcome to episode 2 of the Lafayette Jeff Football All Gas No Brakes podcast. I'm Eli Moody, and I'm here with...
I'm Andre Fancher.
I'm Ben Riva.
Coach Wanner, Jake Wanner.
So I just wanted to ask, how was it going your freshman year?
Obviously not good. We were 0-9. We was just a team. We was young. We didn't have no discipline. We was all still learning. Obviously missing a lot of pieces from the year we had before, so it was obviously rough. Our record says it.
Yeah, and even that year, the first game, we had 4 people out with injuries for the rest of the season. That one game, so the summer wasn't a super great summer, but it wasn't bad. We had some problems going into the season, but after the first game, it was kind of just all downhill from there.
What's crazy to me, okay, so talking about your freshman year, and we're fast-forwarded already now 4 years, right? And I woke up this morning thinking about we're going to talk today, and I'm like, it doesn't feel like it ended that long ago, right? That it doesn't feel like November was that long ago. You guys are now done, right? And you're looking at colleges, you're trying to figure out what the next step is. And I got a little emotional. I'm not like Coach Shanley who's gets all goosebumped and starts crying out of nowhere, right? I got a little emotional this morning. I'm like, dang, I get to talk to these two potentially as Jeff football guys for one last opportunity. And that's kind of crazy to me. And I think what we're all trying to figure out here today is how you take that 0-9 start, right, as freshmen. And to be honest with you guys, I don't think a whole lot was expected from your guys' class in general. I don't remember as a coach at any point sitting down and being like, man, we got this star here and this dude here. And then you guys go 11-1. First off, how does that make you feel that, I just made the statement of we didn't think there was any stars that were going to be in that class. And two, you guys obviously did something that only a handful of teams have done. How does that make you guys feel?
I mean, I would say back then, I don't think we knew we had any stars on the team. We were all... I think we had a lot of big-headed players. We were never the cocky players. We never thought we was better than the others. So I don't think we was ever supposed to be the big stars. Nobody ever considered themselves the big star on the team.
No doubt. I mean, well, and Ben, I'd like to hear from you too. But the reality of the situation is this, Eli: second most catches in a single season history with 87, right behind DK with 113. You're top 10 in tackles in a single season. So we got two of the most prolific football players in a single season in Jeff history, and they're sitting here talking about no stars, no expectations. Ben, how does that happen? How do you go from a no expectation guy to now all of a sudden you're a top 10 all-time leading tackler in a single season Jeff history?
For sure. I definitely feel freshman year, the seniors, and that just group didn't really live up to the expectation. We go sophomore year, they exceeded expectation, they killed it. Then junior year, below expectation. So we knew, I feel for me at least, I can't speak for my whole class, but I knew what winning was and I knew what losing was.
Yeah.
And I experienced that back to back to back. And I feel for me, I don't know about you, but I wanted to make that a winning season because I knew how fun it was in 2022 when we won sectionals, and I really wanted to have that moment again in 2024. So that's really what drove me.
Same boat. I wanted to have that feeling again too.
It's always amazing to win a sectional. Yeah. I remember my freshman year like it was yesterday.
It was
that night, exactly.
Yeah.
So you said specifically the learning to win in 22, learning how losing feels in 23, that shapes was your output. Do you feel the same way? Like,
I mean, yeah, and obviously when you're younger, you kind of just in player in general, you pay attention to everything, so you can kind of see what causes the losing, what caused the winning. What did this team do that required them to win so much? What did this team do that made them lose so many games? With the most talent, we talking about the teams that you would consider to have the most talent had the losing season. So when you're a senior, you mean, like y'all always say, write your own story. You're writing your story. You just decide what you want to pick up from what team and how you're going to make this a winning team, not be whatever the team was before.
and I can tell you from the coaching perspective, like after 23 going into your guys' senior year, we sat in a meeting and pulled our hair out trying to figure out like how exactly are we going to change things. And I walk away from this year saying, I don't think coaches really do that much to change that. I think if like we can talk about doing all of these things to become winners and yada, yada, yada. But like, if you guys don't run with it, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? And like, so I think that's the thing when I look back at 22 and I look at 24, it's you guys, the group, the players decided that you guys wanted to be different. And so it's like trying to figure out how to like bottle that up, you know what I'm saying? And like continue to pass that on. But I think it was really, really special watching you guys evolve as a class to take us to where we got. You know, I remember I taught you in 7th grade, man, and he used to annoy me so much. I used to like physically pick him up and like talk to him like this because he would drive me nuts. He was a squirrel, dude. And so it's cool watching him grow up into what he became, you know, because I don't think back in 7th grade I would have thought you'd have been the player that you were going to end up being. So
I didn't think last year myself that I would end up being the player and the leader that I was going to be. It just happened.
Eli, what's it like? Okay, you're younger than both of them, right? You're going to you're going into your senior year.
Yep.
What's it like watching their group for you? Like, how does that look?
It was like watching my older brother grow up. It was like watching you guys like go through the hardships. Like both of you guys went through major injuries through your careers, and watching that and see y'all grow up and just become better through it, and how hard y'all worked to get back on the field, it really did inspire me, and it inspired a lot of people from my class.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, for sure. I feel like for me, like how I go about inspiring people isn't like I'm not trying to do that specifically, but something I was like thinking about in 2023 when we were 5-5 was like how much the seniors just really didn't feel like they cared. And what you were saying was like, how do we bottle that up and continue that? I feel like you have to have the seniors like wanting to do what you're saying you want them to do and like living by it. Because if the seniors don't care, then why should anybody else care? They've been there the longest. They're the leaders. They're the star players or whatever. But if they don't really care, then nobody else is going to care. So it is a lot player culture, and I feel like the coaches are very important by setting the rules or what we want to do, how we want to live by. But if the seniors aren't living to that expectation, then it just trickles down and it ends up nobody living by it.
Back to what you said about how like like it takes the players to really pull it along. It really started with Ben, because not really though, because my junior year, where I was like mentally, I didn't play. I got injured on the scout team like week 4 because I made a bad decision. So after that, I was more so like, man, we was just losing all these games. I'm not playing no games. I'm not practicing, and which is also what helped me a lot too, because when you're injured and you're not practicing, you're seeing everything from the coach's point of view. So you kind of like,
oh, you got your Coach Dre pants on. That's what happened there. You all of a sudden you were Coach Dre.
Yeah, I'm like,
Big Coach Dre.
I'm really like wishing that I could be playing, and I'm seeing like how the practices are going, taking advantage of the practices, not doing 100%. And I'm like, dang, if only I could. I was probably doing the same thing before I got injured, but now it's like I can't do this, and I'm watching them take advantage of their reps and not doing everything right, and I'm kind of like, dang. And so when this year started, Coach, we was always like, we need a leader, and Ben was like, he was really the only person like, yeah, like doing this. And at first I'm like, bro, I'm not gonna lie, I'm like, oh my God, he's really doing this, and I'm not even caring. But then after a while, I'm like, I'm starting to see a difference. It's as little as things like behind the line. We going through drills. Every time we got a foot, no matter if it's 1 foot, if it's a toe, if your foot on the line, we restart in the whole drill. We got to do 5 push-ups, all of that stuff. And I'm like, you come from thinking like well, how does this translate to football? And
But
it's a discipline
like,
thing.
isn't what's crazy about that is that like that's one of the biggest coaching tropes of all time, right? Is like everybody behind the line. That 1 inch is everything. And when you play, and I remember from being a player, you're always thinking, man, like for real, is that 1 inch for real going to make a difference? And then you watch 23, and I don't know if it was Coach Henderson or maybe Coach Sewell, because they got platitudes like crazy. One of them said culture's contagious, and it goes either direction, like positively, negatively. And so you're sitting there talking about like 23 didn't do that, and when I was in that group, I probably wasn't doing it, and that's because that particular culture set is contagious. It spreads to everybody. Then you get injured, sit it out, then you're noticing, man, that ain't it. And then he comes in 24. And by the way, one thing, Riva's one of the more humble kids I've ever been around.
He doesn't ever take any accomplishment ever.
Yeah, and me and Riva have butted head a few times in practice, and you would never know that his dad's a coach on the staff, right? But you would never really know that because they don't interact that much. So I'm not shocked that a coach's kid is the one pulling the weight. But what led you to spread the infectious positive culture that made Dre say, all right, I got to be a part of this too? So where did that come from?
Even when nobody was listening, like nobody.
I don't know. I mean, when I played my freshman year, I was for sure like the way I felt like I was being treated, and it's, seniors to freshmen, I probably did it this year too, like mess with a freshman or, like making fun or whatever. But I was like, when I'm a senior, I don't want that for anybody. Like, I don't want that for the freshmen, because I almost quit freshman year because of stuff like that, and because I didn't feel like I belonged. So I definitely started down there and just like, I'm gonna treat everybody equal, including myself. And past leaders and players, they had like the right thing in their heart. They wanted to lead and they wanted to win, but when someone's telling you to be quiet in the line and then they turn around and talk, or whatever, something like their foot off the line and their foot's on the line, it's like, why would I ever listen to him? So for me, I was a captain last year, so I thought, I definitely felt some pressure to, be a guy that everybody can count on. So I just made sure that everything that I'm telling people to do or that I'm spreading and all of that I need to be doing that too. And that definitely, like that, and building connections with people, I felt
Doesn't that get old, dude? Don't you wake up one day and you're like, man, today's the day. If my foot's on the line, it is what it is. Like, doesn't it get exhausting?
It does. It for sure does. And there's days where I was like that for sure. But like the fact that we were able to build everybody to a point where I was at, when I'm exhausted, they're like, hey, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're checking me, and I'm not. We got to a point where it wasn't like, oh, Ben's checking anybody. It was everybody's checking everybody. So
I think that's important too, because like the reality of the situation is, I think everybody has a bad day at practice someday. Like, I had bad days. Me and Dre got into it at practice once. Dre had a bad day. You had a bad day. I'm sure you've had plenty of bad days. We're not going to say how bad it was, but you definitely had a bad day. Like, so I think it is, but it starts one guy doing it, right? The culture spreads. Everybody starts doing it, and then guess what? Ben can have a bad day because at the end of the day, somebody else is going to be there to pick that slack up because you're not having the greatest of days. Yeah. And I think that's a really important thing that hopefully your group in class continues to carry on. So what's your best moment? Best Jeff football moment? Look, I get the sectional. The sectional's great, right?
Yeah,
both sectionals are great. I want to know, be selfish Ben, selfish Dre right now, right? Tell me what your favorite Jeff football moment is, right? Is it the record-setting 15 catches at Muncie Central, Dre?
Is it
that one?
Definitely not.
Is it the second half at Kokomo?
The best feeling that I had all season was probably beating Harrison.
That tops everything for sure.
That felt better than like any sectional I won. That felt better than any game.
Is it just because we stopped the streak, or is it just that one particular game?
It was almost like how they came into the game and everything. That game, and probably Avon, because you look back at the preseason rankings. I mean, we had teams ranked above us that we beat by 70 points.
It did not make sense at points.
Did we deserve it though?
No.
You know what I'm saying? Coming for the year before, it's good fuel for sure. So Avon,
Harrison.
Harrison.
I remember they come in. off their buses. We like doing our little stretches. They yelling from the gate. They was just like, it was like the teams were coming in just expecting a walk through the park. I just remember beating Harrison and then the fireworks after, and I remember everybody just being so happy. All the fans were so happy. And for sure, I heard a lot, like, this year, I heard a lot of people saying, like, just fans and, like, supporters saying, like, you guys gave us, like, a lot to do. You gave us fun to watch. Like, you guys did a lot of stuff for us. And that kind of made, because I'm thinking at first, I'm like, yeah, we just winning games. But when you really think about it, you got, like, fans, even, like, the younger ones especially, they actually looking up to us. So they see us winning and stuff. It means a lot to them.
And I think before we jump to Ben, and I know I'm interrupting, I apologize, Ben, but I think that's part of what makes Jeff great, though, right? Is it like, I'm not from here. We discussed that last podcast. We don't need to get into it again, but like, I'm not from here. But Jeff, it feels like it's such a special community, and the fact that you even are talking about, like, it's not about the 15 catches or 189 yards or whatever, but you're talking about the reason your best memory is you and the community, like, having that moment. I think that's what makes Bronco football special, right? Is it's the community type stuff and that's what your best memory is. And not now, don't feel bad if you talk about some 20 tackle game. Like, you don't have to piggyback off Dre. So, like, what's your moment, man?
No, I was gonna say Harrison too, but he said it. But I would say definitely Michigan City this year, and what was it, 2022. We always have good games with them. I feel like they're very competitive.
Just because it was a defensive game. You know what I'm saying?
I do. They usually are defensive games. That's why I do like them. They're a fun team to play, and like they've got, when we go over there, they have good like community, good fans, and last year when it came down to the wire and we got that pick, that was a great moment for me. Like seeing that.
Talk about another kid the kid that got the pick, Alex Juarez, like a kid that like nobody like had any idea what that kid was going to be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because like the year before, it's Micah Lillard, it's all these guys playing D1 football, and then he comes and seals the game. It's interesting that you even have a kid like that pop up on your roster.
Yeah, and I feel like there were so many of those this year.
That's
like,
what I was just about to say.
It wasn't just Alex. There was, I mean,
Keon Burns, same situation.
Kavion, Colin. I mean, they weren't seniors, but
JK.
Yeah, JK. I mean, there were so many people that just kind of like came out of nowhere and were like, I'm going to do this, and they weren't a hindrance at all to the team.
It was really like the kids, like if you really think about it, it was the ones that was working. Like,
yeah, oh, for sure. Alex and Keon,
they was there all the time. I've seen Colin there all the time. Like these people was working for it. So it's not like they just woke up one morning and was just like, oh, yeah, we about to just be athletes. We about to go start. We about to, no, like, they actually worked. Yeah. So it's nice to see that happened too.
And so, Eli, I know you weren't necessarily a varsity guy full-time this year. What's your moment, though? And it could be JV varsity. Like, what was the one moment you had that
probably beating Harrison by 1 on JV. That was so fun this year.
Nice.
I mean, so first of all, their coach was just like, all right, we're gonna run it. And then they took a timeout, and I was like, oh, so they're going to kick it. We're going to go to OT. And I was ready for the OT. And then they were like, so I'm not even in on this play. I'm playing offense, and the next play I ever played was the onside kick. So they're running it again. They ran it right up the middle, and Gerald just lays on the running back, and it's game over. And then we catch the onside kick and kneel it out. And coaches were talking about how JV hadn't beat Harrison in a while, and I didn't even know about that. And it just felt good to beat them.
So take me, all three of you can do this, because I've never personally had to do any of this stuff. So you guys can chime in. So I have no input here. You were, all of like 65 pounds when you came over from Tecumseh, Dre? And Ben, you must have been what? Maybe 115, 120 pounds when you came over? How am I sitting out here? I got 3 dudes in the program. You're a big, strong kid. You've put on 50, 60 pounds. Your 40 dropped. That was the one concern when you got moved to receiver. I'm like, I don't know, little guy. He wasn't overtly fast. You dropped that, what, 2 tenths, 3 tenths?
I was it a 4? It was like a 4.9 something, and then it was like a 4.5 something.
So how does that happen? Who's responsible for that transformation? Obviously, you all work, right? Who does that? Like, it's not me. I didn't make you faster.
Okay, well, obviously, OGD. Everybody loves OGD. Everybody knows OGD. The workouts that we get in second period weights, we blessed to have that class, all of us together with planned all of that throughout the workout. Really that, just like who was constructing the workouts and the speed sessions, and then obviously us willing to do the work. And it shows whoever was actually doing the work. I mean, it shows the numbers. It shows. So definitely who was constructing the workouts and the sessions, and the players willing to actually do it.
For sure. I think, I feel like OGD and Coach Russ before, because Coach Russ was really running it before OGD. I think those two, and then like yourself, it really takes yourself being 100% bought in, like taking advantage of everything we have. We have the meals, there's creatine, protein. Like, they're really good, but they can't just make you faster and bigger and stronger if you're not willing. If you're just going in there lifting and then leaving, then like you're going to see a slower growth. Yeah. So it's really taking advantage of everything you have, and that'll make you, faster and stronger. But it really, first it takes yourself. It absolutely, if you're not 100% bought in, they're not just going to do it for you.
Right, yeah.
And when you look at, Alex, Keon, JK, the guys we're talking about, everybody was thinking, maybe. But then their senior year, it's like they were dropping just like Andre. They were, running 4.6s, 4.5s, and they're like, okay, they could play varsity. And, they really bought into the program. They were eating everything, doing the right, really.
If you guys don't know, you guys know, but the people that are listening potentially probably don't know, I'm Andre's position coach. And so how sick did you get on Sundays of me texting you and Coach Sewell texting you and saying, hey, eat another plate, put in some more? How annoyed did you get during those times?
Every day you getting 2-3 text messages a day, hydrate, all caps, hydrate, exclamation point, eat another plate, eat till you can't no more. You should feel sick when I'm like, whoa, I can't eat that much. I'm like, calm down.
And then when there was that brief moment where Andre might have played some defense, he'd get it from Coach Cronk too. So he'd get it from me and Sewell, and then Coach Cronk would be like, yo, you can't play defense this week if you don't weigh this certain weight.
Yeah, if you're down 3 pounds, you're not playing on defense. And I'm like, oh man, I wanted to play some defense. So now I'm sitting there eating. Definitely was a way to keep me eating because I definitely wanted to play some defense.
All right, real quick though, before we're gonna get Day in here, and we'll get him introduced in a second. But I got one last question for you guys. Favorite OGD moment before you get off here? Because look, that man scares me to death. He lit me up once. But OGD might be the most Jeff guy. He loves the Broncos, and he is 100% all gas. Favorite OGD moment? It could be him lighting you up. He could be him just being him. What's the one off the top of your head, maybe?
Man.
Because them GDDs are not simple stuff. He's out there trying to break you guys. So
it was really his energy. Selfishly, my specific favorite moment is when I ran the 40 time, and I remember I'm just running, and I run through the last little electronic thing, and there I'm going woo! He get super loud and start yelling, and he yelled out the numbers, and he was his energy is always on point. Even when he was mad, he was still yelling at his energy is always what makes him for sure.
Yeah, no, he's a great guy. He's got he's super funny. He's got a lot of funny moments, just saying funny stuff.
When he hits the pow, pow.
Yeah,
he hits the pow on the cycle, dude.
His little noises for sure. Nah. Man, I don't know. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. I didn't know if I was cool with saying that, but yeah.
Oh my God.
After, would it be Saturdays, a recovery, and we're stretching, and the good OGD, bad OGD. That was forever funny.
Yeah.
And you guys better make fun for that.
We
forever
still do.
now.
It's
good OGD, bad. Yeah. No. Yeah. For sure.
I appreciate. I guess Eli, we're gonna pop Day in here. We're gonna get some of his perspective. I don't know. Which one of you two is volunteering to jump off?
All right.
All right, Dre. I appreciate you, man.
See you later.
I'll scoot over here so Day.
Day gets to sit next to me.
So you can get
Day.
So Eli, as Day's pulling in here, you can introduce Day because he's in your position group, right?
Yeah.
So maybe you fill him in.
This is Daquan, Viverette. This is also my biggest inspiration and mentor right here. And we're literally the same person. We're the same height and everything. So.
Well, all right. Well, that was not the introduction I was expecting, but that's kind of cool that you get to sit here. We get to talk to the guy that kind of is going to shape who you want to play as. The first thing I need to know, and I already know the answer to this, I was going to ask you what the thing you're going to miss most about Jeff football. We all know it's going to be the mac and cheese. The Thursday mac and cheese, I already know that that's what you're going to miss the most. If you hit me up and give me your college address, I'll send you a pan at some point. So just to get your feels real quick before we talk about actual stuff, what's the thing you're going to miss most about Jeff football at this point?
The thing I'm probably miss the most is just being with the guys and doing GDDs with all my football teammates and just working out and just, getting it all out, but us being together for the most part, it being fun.
Okay. So that's the most O-lineman answer ever. Like, I'm going to miss the lifting part. Not the game. I don't want to be hitting nobody, but we'll lift the weights and do all that stuff. That's what's up. You come from this is my opinion, okay? The O-line is typically one of the more tight-knit groups on a football team because you guys are the group that sacrifices the most. You guys have to do all the dirty work. You got to block and protect people so that they can succeed, right? We got a 112-pound Andre Fancher over here putting up however many touchdowns he put up this year. He gets to do all the dancing in the end zone and all the stuff he's going to do, and you're back there fighting off a guy who's like 290, 300 pounds, right? So how do you two mentally accept the challenge of the offensive line?
I love O-line. It's the most fun thing ever. I mean, you just get to hit people for free.
Yeah, honestly, that's how I feel about it. Like, just blocking and, like, letting the other group shine. Like, just as knowing you doing your job and doing it correct and making sure your team is winning for the most part, yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Like, Ben, you get to go against our O-line unit all summer leading up. You get to, and then we had our one-on-one days, right? We had good days, and we had some pretty good battles in there. What's it like if you're trying to fill a gap, and then here comes day? What's the thought process there?
Luckily I didn't have to do that too much because I was more on the outside. But me and Day, every time we'd go at it, we went at it. Especially an inside run, we've had some moments where it went a little after the play, a little extracurricular or whatever it is. But yeah, he's a dog. It was for sure fun.
If you had to match up the career tally in those one-on-one matchups, who won? Who got it, Ben or Day?
Don't lie.
You don't lie.
Nah, I'm just kidding. I don't really remember.
I ain't keep track.
Our junior year, we for sure went at it more.
Yeah, we went at it way more.
Is that something like I played in college? You're going to head off and play is it Anderson?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're heading to Anderson. Andre claims that he's not going to get touched by any college football player, so we don't have to worry about him. when you're considering going to college, it becomes a business, right? So when I got left and went to college, like now it's a business. Like they don't have to play you. There's no like you're going to sit on the bench long enough and eventually it's your turn. It's 5:45 special teams meetings, 7 a.m. lifts, classes, practice, and it's a business now, right? Because if the coaches lose, their jobs go away. Like, do you think you're mentally prepared? Did the program prepare you to make that step? Do you guys think you're there? Like, you guys are ready for that shift in mentality to play at the college level?
Yeah, I feel like, the program made me way stronger just going to workouts during, like, fall break and winter break, just working out, going to all the GDDs. I feel like it prepared me a lot.
And Ben, you think you're in the same boat?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, this program has instilled, like, discipline in me that I would have never had otherwise. Like, and I miss it, not, doing football here anymore, obviously, like the P-Sex and all of that. Like, it's definitely missing from my life, which has made it, like, a little less disciplined, but it has for sure helped me, in my life, and it will going forward.
And do you guys think, and Eli, you feel free to chip in too, like, I talked about last podcast, and of course, coming from the coaching perspective, I feel like we do a really good job of preparing you guys for the game of football mentally, right? The IQ of football, like learning what football is about. You got to play under Coach Cronk, who's been a long time, probably going to be a Hall of Fame coach at some point, right? You're under Coach Turnipseed and Coach Cruzwick, and both those guys, high-level O-line coaches. Like, do you think that they not only you get physically ready from OGD, but were you guys, like, when you walked on the field, did you feel mentally prepared to play the game of football? Because I jokingly last podcast, like, when I was playing in high school, they just said throw it to the open guy. There was no, like, trying to read. It was like, just throw it to the guy that's open. So, like, did you guys feel like when you walked on the field, did you ever feel Like you weren't mentally prepared to play the game, like that you understood what was happening and things like that?
I know when like me and Day, like we break off after like the first half of the meeting. Whenever we get into the meeting room with Coach Cruz, like we break down like most of the defensive plays what we're gonna see that week, and then we also put in like 97 this week. He's gonna be really good. He does this, and that. Like they have specifics for everything and what like they favor, and it really does help. It does.
Yeah, I feel like they very much mentally prepare because the Thursday nights like before a game, we would go over film and like watch film over what the teams would like do and their tendencies, I guess. Yeah, I feel like we were very prepared.
Yeah, like you said, really great coaches, like super smart. And if you have a question, they're gonna make sure it's ironed out, and you're gonna know what you're doing when you're going out there. And I never felt like I was worried about what I was doing, or if I had any questions, I knew I could just ask them and they would help me.
Sectional championship game at home, NCC opponent. We struggled the first go round in the first half with them. We're not supposed to trash other schools. This is not me trashing Coconut. We beat the brakes off them.
Yeah, no,
Right.
that was
It looked to me, I'm way up at the very top of the sky. I'm looking down and it looked like they were done. What was the difference? Because I don't feel like we changed game plan. I don't feel like we schematically got a lot different for that game. And what was the difference? Because you guys on defense were flying around, and you guys were road grading on offense. Like it was to the point where I'm like, Coach Hanley's like, "Hey, what do you think next drive?" I'm like, "Do the same thing. Like we're dominating. Like just continue to do it." So like, was there a shift mentally for you guys going into that game, or did we just execute better? Like what happened?
I think it was the opening kickoff. Like that set the tone. Once like the way we just like kick returned it immediately, and the way like it was just like, oh, we're just playing free today, and I feel like it just took the weight off everybody's shoulders.
Yeah, for me it was like going into the game like you would see the other players like walking out the locker room heads down, like they felt that like they were going to lose this game, and I guess with that mentality they did lose the game.
Yeah, I think defensively I feel like we had a lot to prove because the first time like we didn't play as good as we can, and we kind of got out aggressive. But that was definitely a focal point. We switched things up a little bit defensively, but yeah, we just made sure we were on them early because, like, it doesn't have to be a four-quarter war. If you smash the team in the first half, they're done after that. And I feel like if we didn't do that, it would have been a closer game. But we were just full fire and everything, like, and we were prepared for a four-quarter war. Obviously, we would have done the best we could the whole time, but I feel like we kind of demoralized them in the first half, and then obviously in the second half it was.
And that's what like I think the one common thread between the 22 and 24 teams, the section championship teams, is like it's you guys and that group were so resilient. Like we never had emotional issues on the sideline with those two groups. Like. In the game, it didn't matter if it was a grinder at McCutcheon or a grinder at City or we're blowing out whoever. You guys embodied the idea of we're not going to be way up here, we're not going to be way down here emotionally. And as embarrassing as this is, sometimes I feel like the coaches were more emotional about things, like when things are going certain ways, and like that 22 team and your guys' team just were right here. Like I never walked into a locker room at halftime when we do our adjustments at halftime, and we never had to have we got to reel our guys in. Like we got to, get them refocused. Like they're a little too loose, or hey, they're a little too tight. Even at Warsaw, we come off the field after that wild Andre chucking the football around play at the end of that, right before the end of half, and I'm like, what are we doing? And we come in. And as we're walking off the sideline, or either coming off the sideline to the locker room, all I'm hearing is, we're good. We got another half. Lock in, we're good. Like, there was no, like, dang, these guys are, like, this is a tough team. We got to figure it out. We got to turn up. And, like, is that, you think that comes from your guys' leadership? Like, your guys' mentality? Because I know that you, early in your career, you used to get a little crazy. But, like, you got older, like, you were one of the more even keel guys on the team. And same with you, right? It's like you have your moments, but like for the most part, you guys are right here. Do you think that that's like a class-specific thing to you guys, or do you think that that's something that you had to learn that the coaches kind of instilled in you guys?
To kind of piggy off like what Coach is saying, like even at like the Kokomo game, like we were down, was it 17 or 10 at half?
They were down 10.
10, and like we were walking out, and the first thing Ben said is like, "Oh, we got him." Like we're down 10, and you're saying, "Oh yeah, we're gonna win," and we do, and it's crazy. But like that just like kept everybody even, like what he said, even like keeping us calm.
Yeah. For me, like, you have to like believe it. I truly believe we were gonna win. Even Warsaw, I truly believed it because one of the work we put in, you know, I didn't feel like it could end right there. I didn't feel like we would lose these games because of, you know, the work, and I couldn't. I'm not handle's not the right word, but I just didn't want to lose and let, you know, my whole team down, my family down, the community down, and it just felt different. I don't know if you guys felt that too, but like this season, like it felt different. You know, when we're down, you know, we were down going in to have a couple games against good teams, and I never once thought we were gonna lose just because like it just felt different. It felt like, oh, we're good. Like I don't know, I really don't know how to explain it really, but.
For me, I trusted all the work we put in, and I knew like the guys, we were going to come together as a unit and be one and play like one. And I just trusted the people around me, and I trusted my coaches.
Dude, I'm a weirdo, bro. So like, I get weird feelings like at the end of July, and Coach Hanley be getting these long texts from me about, I'm like, oh, this team's this, that, and the other. Every year, I'll watch your guys' senior speeches or whatever is going on. And I'll get this like weird feeling, and I'll text Coach about what I feel like. And this year was a very short text message to Coach. I'm like, I think we're good. And you guys, by the way, you had no reason to feel that way. We went 5-5 the year before. Like we were not like, when you come off seasons like that, there's supposed to be this like weird, intense urgency to change what's happening, and it never felt that way. Like it always just felt like, again, maybe like what you're saying is that you just felt like this is where we're supposed to be and what we're supposed to be doing. And I always think that's really cool to get your guys' perspectives from like that, because I'm weird about that stuff. Like I get all kind of antsy about it. But Lafayette Jefferson, right? It's a special place to be, I think. You know what I mean? Like the school offers a lot of opportunities and possibilities for a lot of kids that walk in this door. And I feel like we're heading towards the end of this podcast here. So as kind of get this thing consolidated, what's special about Jeff to you guys? Doesn't have to be football, doesn't have to be weights class. What about Lafayette Jefferson special? Like this is a great place to be, and there should be more people should be putting respect on the name of Jeff, and they should be coming here. So you tell me what's special about Jeff in your guys' opinion.
Yeah, I feel like Jeff's had a bad rap, and you know people have made assumptions about Jeff, but it's really not like that at all. It's such it's a community, like you said, like, you know, it's, you know, open to everybody, and, you know, right in the middle of the city, like, it really does just feel like a family. Like, you know, sports, you know, clubs, whatever, like, you know, they're great here. I don't know, it just feels like a family. It's a great school. I'm happy I'm here.
Honestly, to me, I just feel like Jeff gave like a lot of opportunities to like be better and better yourself. Like, what other school do you know that has a weights class like
that? Yeah.
Yeah,
you have a weight room.
Yeah, like we have a top 10 weight room in the country. Like we have like great opportunities and just great things to do here. Yeah.
I just think like the opportunities all around. I mean, like look at the GLCA program that we have. It's right across, and then you also have like our music wing, which is a ranked. Like music, I mean, if you want to be good at music, like you can go here and get good.
Yeah.
And speaking of Music Wing, I bring the 8th graders over from Tecumseh the other day to watch. I apologize for butchering this. I don't remember what the name of the program was or what music group was doing it, but I'm rolling up in there. And who's up on there? It's your partner in crime is up there. He O'Neal Grissett up front, which is wild to watch a 300-pound offensive lineman up front singing his guts out. And then I apologize, Troy, but you're always going to be Fist Bump Troy to me. Fist Bump Troy is up there in his leather jacket dancing. And so it's wild to be watching these football players that are getting this diverse experience. And kind of shame on you a little bit. Not even mentioning the radio and television department here. This man's got a show on every day for the last 30 minutes of school with O'Neal. And that's really cool because when I went to school, like, they didn't have those opportunities. And so, like, it's really awesome. I think, like, you guys as football players get so many opportunities to chase so many different pathways. And I think that's really awesome. So, anything to top it off?
Thank y'all for letting me be on here. And all gas, no brakes.
No doubt. Any last words of wisdom?
Just be great or whatever you do. That's it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, all gas, no brakes, right?
Yeah.
You got the outro. You're going to hit it on us real quick? Maybe not.
What is it? What is the outro?
All right, look, this is the Lafayette Jeff All Gas No Brakes podcast, okay? Make sure that you like it. You hit the subscribe button. We're going to bring in a lot more content with former players, other coaches. We're going to have a recruiting expert coming at some point. So please take a few minutes out of your day. Give us a listen and a follow. That would be greatly appreciated. I'm going to count down 1, 2, 3. You guys know what to say? You know what to say? We're going to say go Broncos. It's really not that complicated, all right? So 1, 2, 3.
Go
Broncos!
What we rep, Lafayette Jeff, Broncos, let's go. All cash, no brakes, LJ for air, let's play. What we rep, Lafayette Jeff, Broncos, let's go. All cash, no brakes, LJ for air, let's play. What we rep, Lafayette Jeff, Broncos,